Welcome, one and all, to the K.O.E. Nation for this very anticipated spirits matchup of Peerless Distilling's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey Single Barrel Selection. This is Bourbon Barrel number 1, selected by Nebraskans. Barrel number B170802105. Barrel date August 3rd, 2017. Corn, rye, and barley. Folks, I am your king of extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince of potentate of the political parlors, the lord of the Scottish Highlands. One damn handsome man if I do say so myself. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter, and I am joined this evening by my indomitable broadcast partners. The one, the only,
your big bucking emperor, chicken, 10-time revolutionary wrestling podcast champion, very thirsty, super excited to destroy my palate real quick with a high-proof bourbon. Let's do this, fellas.
and
The 15-time Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast Champion, non-chill filtered, quadruple distilled, your blend master himself, Tony fucking G. And you can find me at all my socials and all the podcasts at Linktree/Tony the Rod. And tonight we are going to get into a high-proof bourbon. Did you hear this? Because it's Peerless. Holy shit, we're doing this. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, that was nice.
Oh, yeah.
Beauty.
that was a hard.
That's what you
pop.
get with a big, thick cork.
Okay.
Now, is that a real flesh cork, or is that a synthetic rubber cork?
This is a real cork here, and you can see it was in there tight, guys. Like,
Big,
Very
thick, real
tight.
cork does fit in the bottle tight.
Real tight.
you okay there, T?
I've never been better, Phil.
Can you get it back in there, Phil?
All right,
Spit
hang
on it.
Got it.
Here, let me spit on it for you.
No, you didn't. It's gross that way. But no, there's like a little tab I thought I saw in here, but well, see. There we
Good
go.
Lord. All right.
Yep. I mean, there it is. Top or deep. It's
So right here we have got single barrel Peerless Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 114.6 proof at 57.3 ABV. This is Peerless Distilling out of Louisville. The single barrel of Peerless Bourbon Whiskey stands alone among peers with its depth and unique profile. Distilled, bottled, and aged on the banks of the Ohio River, this bourbon is the definition of Kentucky.
the Ohio Valley, the Ohio River. You think these folks ever went to see Ohio Valley Wrestling? Go check out Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast on YouTube, too. Sorry, Tony, I'm never above shameless self-promotion.
This is non-chill filtered. It's a strictly sweet mash. It's barrel proof, no water added. And this specific is barrel, like you said, number 1, selected by Nebraskans.
I picked this one up at Wine, Beer, and Spirits Lincoln. I don't know if it was exclusive to them only. I'll have to look into it. Like, it might have been just like, this is the Nebraska barrel. I don't know.
Corn, rye, and barley. This is, this is a bottle that you see a lot, and typically this is going to be on the higher end of the price scale, is it not? Like,
Yeah, this one, like, just full disclosure, we'll get to this a little later, too, but this cost me $99 USD. So $100.
and I've never had any Peerless, so let's see if it's worth the
this
hype.
is the nose is subtle for how high the proof
I was going to
is.
say, that does not smell like 114
Yeah, that
proof.
smells like an 80 proof. Like,
Yeah,
it
that's
smells like-
really diluted
It's-
nose.
It's kind of a quintessential bourbon nose, though.
Yeah.
Like, you get
With
the
everything
oak, you
muted.
get a little vanilla, and yeah, it's like
Yeah, this is what you'd get like out of a Buffalo Trace or like an Evan
Four
Williams.
Roses.
Just a very,
Kind of reminds me of Four Roses.
yeah.
Now, every time I get a Four Roses single barrel, it's always the spicy mash bill and always the spicy recipe, never the sweet, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's surprising. I'm a little taken aback by how muted that nose is.
Jelly?
Yeah, let's see if the palate's a little bit
So
stronger
you
than
get
the
all
nose.
the vanillas, the caramels, the oaks, but it's so muted.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
That's different from the nose. Mm-hmm. Wow. There's spice for days there, guys.
I like that.
Oh, that's hot.
Ooh.
That fills your whole mouth and sticks around like in a George T. Stagg manner.
Yeah.
That bites back like a Booker's, but it drinks like a...
It doesn't lose that sweetness though. That caramel just like lingers in there.
It bites like a Booker's, lingers like George T. Stagg, smells like a Weller 12-year.
Okay. But there's a flavor here that like is adjacent to something else that we've had many a time. I'm having a hard time putting my finger on it.
Like that spice, there's like a cocoa powder in with
You're
that
right.
spice
This
too.
is so reminiscent of something else. Heaven's Door? Or am I off there? Like, or is this reminiscent of some other store pick because maybe it's just the people who picked this are close to our palate preference?
To me, I think it does remind me a bit. You mentioned Four Roses of that small batch select, that bottle that I had. I think that's what it is that I'm picking up on.
The spice on that one,
Yeah.
and the heavy sweetness.
Yeah, that was the one we had in the bourbon tournament, was it not?
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's what I'm remembering here. That small batch select. This is.
I think this tastes like one of our blends from the bourbon tournament.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I think that's what's like. What was that? Okay, it was that night, and there was that there, but like, yeah. So
There's only 20 whiskeys there, Phil.
yeah,
Forgive me for not. Yeah. Not
Yeah,
being
we're not
able-
going to be able to remember which one exactly.
Oh,
but,
I know exactly which one.
Man,
I'm just
that-
not telling.
yeah. Oh, God. Thanks.
Usually, I'm able to down these in the first couple of tastings. Phil, you poured pretty heavy.
Well, we've been going through them pretty quick in our other
And
reviews.
yeah, I don't know that I'm going to down this one during
Yeah.
the review.
Yeah, because, guys, like I said, there's so, like, don't get me wrong, the palate is nothing like George T. Stagg.
No.
It's just the linger is there.
It's got
It's a lot sweeter and a little more approachable.
a nutty. What's what brand is it that has the heavy nut? Is it Evan
Knob.
Williams or Knob? Maybe I'm thinking of
Creek.
Knob.
Yeah, Knob Creek's very.
That's
peanut.
what I'm getting. There's a heavy nut, heavy nut, like a Knob Creek 12-year specifically, because I'm not getting like the 15-year oak overpowering, but
Well,
like the
no.
Knob Creek 12,
Now, guys,
but the good nuttiness.
Let's not brag. I mean, here, everybody that's featured on the K.O.E. Nation is well acquainted with having to haul around very heavy nuts everywhere. Okay,
This is true.
So let's not brag too much to the folks at home, but yes,
We're like squirrels named Atlas.
I like it. I'm in.
So, yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, there is a nuttiness here.
Did I get you with that one?
A little bit. Caught me off guard on that one. And there's a candied apple on the nose, too.
See, I'm not getting a ton of the sweetness.
I get that.
Just go back to it after you've had it on the palate.
The sweetness is it comes late and it lingers. I don't get it in. I get like a cocoa powder mixed in with the oak.
I get the cocoa powder.
a little bit of vanilla. It's
A little bit of vanilla, I guess. It's just
I'm
I'm getting
can't
a lot of
figure
the
out
nut.
what the sweetness afterwards. It's almost like a maraschino cherry that was muddled
Yeah.
and just the
Now,
leftover.
Tony, you don't think
Okay.
you might be getting the sweet taste of, well, look at the proof here. 114.6. Happens to be the same proof of another one of your favorite whiskeys. Is this reminding you of Old Granddad 114 at all?
Yeah.
With some extra kick
You know,
and some extra flavors?
now that you mention that, there is a specific sweetness that you get with the OGD 114. Yeah, that's probably what.
I'm thinking,
Yeah,
like,
you're
that's
right.
the one flavor that's adjacent that you're not catching, is kind of that weird, like, musty, oaky Old Granddad.
I think
like,
you're onto something. That it's proof specific because Old Granddad 114 has that striking, sweet, but not overbearing spice, and I get a lot of that here. Yeah, I think you're right. It is proof
But,
specific.
like, for a spice lover,
yeah.
I think you would probably want to reach for this, but boy, howdy,
Yeah.
the price difference isn't.
Between this and Old Granddad 114, yeah, it's not even close in terms of price.
Yeah, but I really enjoy this, and actually,
It's
guys, I'm
good.
going to be honest with you. I'm entering this into the 2024 Bourbon
baby.
Tournament,
All
so
right.
we'll get into the bracketings later. But now we move on to the grading.
Yes.
For those who don't know, we grade on a 5-star scale. 5 meaning you have to have it before you shuffle off this mortal coil. 0 meaning pass it on by. The K.O.E. Nation has advised you will. So we're going to grade this as a bourbon, as a whiskey, as a cask-aged spirit. It's shelving, and for those new to the show, the secret 5th question. So, since it's my bottle, we'll open this one up with bourbon. Tony, what do you just wait, what? No, as a bourbon, this has all the flavors that you want. It's got that heavy mouth coating that almost reminds you of the Maker's Mark Private Selects, and George T. Stagg, but in a totally different flavor experience. Okay, like because Maker's Mark is it's a weeded bourbon. This is rye, and so that like you're getting that mouthfeel, but from a different side of the spectrum.
There's a familiarity there. You're right, but yeah, you're right. A completely different side of the spectrum. I like that comparison.
Well, so I'm going to give this as a bourbon 4.5 stars. Because this is so prototypical bourbon. Like, if there was, like, all right, son, you're turning 21, it's time to have your first bourbon. You could pour this, and it would give them a pretty good, fuzzy idea what they're getting into. Okay? So I'm giving that 4.5 stars as a bourbon. I promise you I'm going to be less generous throughout this.
Okay.
I'm not too far off on the bourbon because this is what I expect. Like, this hit, like, all my expectations for, one, the proof, and then you're going to have a single barrel and, you know, trying to make something special. This is special. For a bourbon and what you're expecting out of it, this hit it. I'm going to go 4.25.
See, for me, it's different because typically I'm the one that likes a lot of heavy spice and a nasty bitch and proof, but for me, I almost wanted a little bit more sweetness, but this is what you get when you deal with a single barrel bourbon. Yep. You don't like it's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get with a single barrel. But
you should put that in a movie.
You should probably do gangbusters.
Life is like a single barrel bourbon. You never know what you're going to get.
So I think I'm actually going to go 3.75 as a bourbon.
Okay, all right. So interesting. Now, as a whiskey, Tony, I'm curious where you're going with this. So I'm going to let you open this up. As a whiskey on a 5-star scale.
As a whiskey, the proof's there. You could drink this over the rocks. You could dilute this with water, and it'd probably open up a lot of that sweetness. The cocktails you could do with this is probably there because, again, the mash bill represents it. So as a whiskey, I'm going to go 3.9.
Interesting. Chicken, what do you rate this as a whiskey?
For everything Tony said, I think he's right. There's not a lot of limits to this when you think of what you can do with the bourbon and with a high proof. I think this could go and do a lot of things. You could have a lot of fun with this. So I'm going to stick with 4.25. I think it's a great whiskey.
I'm going to agree with Tony and go 3.9 as a whiskey.
There's something that keeps me from hitting 4.
I think the fact that the nose is so muted.
That could be it.
That cork was bigger than yours.
It is a damn big cork.
I mean, you know, Chicken, you know he's self-conscious.
I'm not intimidated by
For a short, stubby, thick bottle like this, you don't expect to uncork it and have the pop be that loud and that tight. I mean, just...
It's intimidating.
It's
intimidating. So,
it is.
As a cask-aged spirit, Chicken, I'm going to let you open this one up. As a cask-aged spirit.
Being that thick, it's got to be at least 18 years old, right? You guys wanted to do dad jokes we wrote ourselves, right? And you were already laughing this early in.
I didn't write any.
I wrote so many, so I don't care if you fucking plagiarize somebody. I got great ones.
Oh, God.
Anyway, you want to start that question over again?
As a cask-aged spirit on a 5-star scale, Chicken, how would you rate this?
Well, I don't see an age statement on here.
Usually don't with a single barrel, so I'm...
It's going to be tough.
It's got to be at least 8, I would think. With that high of proof, it's got to be at least 8,
I'm going to
right?
give it about 6 to 7. Yeah.
Yeah, at least 6. I don't know. I'll probably stick around that. Probably that 4 range. I love the aftertaste of sweetness, and I'm not a big spice lover. This hits it for me. I like the mix of it and the aftertaste. And it's just it's more than a plain bourbon. That's what I always say. 4 Roses is just a basic bourbon.
Yeah.
This is more than that, and it hits above that weight
When
class.
I was at Wine, Beer, and Spirits, they had the regular Peerless there.
Yep.
And it was $89. Then they had the store pick for $99. And I already had the regular in my hand saying, we're going to give this a review. And they say, store pick, Another $10.
Do it.
There's 5 left.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, like so.
yeah.
For that reason, I'm gonna just give it a plain 4, because there are some great age statement bourbons out there that blow this away. But it does punch above its weight class.
Yeah.
Tony, as a cask aged.
With the single barrel again, you don't know what you're going to get. This is nice. Don't get me wrong, and you would think that with the spice and the proof, this would be right up my alley, but it's not. It's missing something for me, and I think it's just a little bit of sweetness. I'm going to go 3.5.
As a cask aged spirit, I'm gonna go 3.75. Okay, like I really feel like if they were to do this exact bottling with like an 8, 9, 10-year age statement,
Yeah.
this would probably be
Yeah.
ascendant. The nose, like literally, if they were to leave it in the barrel, probably another year, the nose would be vastly improved. But I don't know what to do to the palate.
Maybe
so.
cut it out a little earlier and see if you don't retain some of that sweetness in place of the oak.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I
So
I don't know why I want a little more
all
sweetness.
right, we're
with this
gonna
one.
get. These are gonna be interesting then. Okay, the shelving. Chicken.
I think it's definitely at least middle shelf.
Yes.
I could see some people putting this on their top shelf. For me, it's a little crowded up there, and I'm not sure it belongs with all of them. I would say this is a high middle shelf.
The name brand alone does garner a lot of looks because people know generally this is
Yeah.
going to be in the $100 range. But I don't think that justifies putting it on the top. So yeah, middle.
I'm in disagreement with the two of you. I'm gonna put this on my top shelf. Maybe it's because I bought it, so it's
That
that
could
kind of
be it.
bias. But also, this is just a little more spicy than my palate preference normally is. But what I would use this for, this is gonna sound strange. If I'm gonna go in for like a super spicy whiskey that like I know I'm gonna be drinking with you, like say we're gonna do that Booker's review night. Before we get into Booker's, I would recommend us both pouring a dram
sure.
of this to kind of season ourselves
Right.
into what we're about to get into. So,
Yeah.
That's fair.
so this
And
has,
with Booker's, you get such a different, like, every bottle is going to be so vastly different. I
Yes.
think with, correct me if I'm wrong out there, internet community, but I'm guessing that in terms of single barrel Peerless, this is generally the flavor profile you're going to get even as a single
I
barrel.
don't think it's going to be like, we're getting some things that are a little, but I suspect it's not going to be wild.
Yeah, not like a
Right.
Booker's.
It's like, or like another good example, Woodford Double Oak.
Yeah.
Those are so, like, it's a whole, like, you could almost do a tournament of Woodford Double Oaks, and you would not think you're drinking the same whiskey.
Oh, God, let's
True. I got 3 different store picks.
do
at home, by the way.
Woodford. Let's do Woodford versus Maker's store picks.
I got a bunch. I've been collecting more Maker store picks too.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
Let us know in the comments what you think of all that, folks, because,
Yes.
yeah, I mean, that's just a yes.
Chicken gets in the comments and just comments. Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you should try this
Chicken's made
Yeah.
like 10 accounts.
Ivy
Like,
just got a new pick. Go pick this one up, Tony.
Chicken's the truest version of that Lord of the Rings memes. Like, bro, when my meme only got 4 likes, where were you? Making 4 accounts, bro. Bro. Like, yep, that's, yep. So, now the secret 5th question. When this bottle runs empty, will I seek another? So, guys, $99. That's a lot of scratch. You know, I mean, in Biden's America, nobody can, who can ever spare. But we still try. We do this for you, K.O.E. Nation. These are sacrifices we make. You think we buy this whiskey because we want to drink it? No.
I do.
Wait, what's this all been about?
It's about reviewing the whiskeys. Chicken, whiskey is not about fun. Whiskey is work. Don't you know that?
Why am I not getting paid?
Yeah.
Paid? All right, anyways.
You're not getting paid, you better be getting laid.
Well, you are getting whiskey. We're getting to drink whiskey.
All right.
So at least we're
I
participating.
lied.
We're participating in each other's bad decisions financially. So, when this bottle runs empty, $99 USD for a Peerless store pick, 114 proof. Tony, is that something you'd pull the trigger on?
This was wine, beer, spirits.
Yep.
I don't know that I would grab their single barrel. I may reach.
Try the regular?
Yeah, I might go for the regular and see if there's not a little more. Do you off the top of your head? Okay, if you don't, is there a difference in the proof? Is this higher than their standard? I assume it's a little higher.
Yeah, I think this was a bit higher. I think
Okay.
it was. Don't quote me. I think it was somewhere around.
Usually, I like a high proof. For me, though, and now I'm like, because I'm tasting this and I'm looking at the mash bill. I'm interested, but I'm also scared, as a lover of rye, of what their rye will taste like, because I think this type of mash bill, but more rye forward, is going to be really
spicy,
really minty, almost overwhelmingly rye. So I'm actually a little timid to try the rye. So I don't know that I grab, just on a whim, a bottle of Peerless now.
They had a rye store pick that I almost got, but that was like $110.
I think I'd go with the standard.
Yep. Okay, so
Just,
Tony,
yeah,
not as big a fan.
not a huge fan, but it's not bad. Don't get me wrong.
Mostly because you're just thinking of old Granddad 114 every time you look at this bottle now.
I don't know. Yeah, you kind of put that in my head.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we all know old Granddad 114 is, in my personal opinion, as it stands right now in this year of our Lord 2023, the best value in whiskey.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
hands
like
down.
if you're
Stop telling people.
Yeah, it's the worst.
We're gonna make it hard to find.
Don't buy it. It just came back to Nebraska. Like, finally.
True. You actually kind of find it places. So chicken, $99 USD.
This specific, this one specifically, if I knew it was still available, I'd probably go grab a bottle of it. I do enjoy this rather.
So you see a Peerless rye store pick back home.
Potentially.
I know you're Mr. Rye over here, so Tony's like, "What the fuck? I thought I was Mr. Rye."
This has a lot of rye qualities to it already.
It does.
It's probably got quite a bit of rye in the
Well,
mash
yeah,
bill.
it says corn rye barley on the side right there. So
Yeah.
So this is an interesting
it's
one.
got to be a high rye bourbon.
I gotta say, this particular bottle has divided the K.O.E. nation more than almost any other
It's a
bottle
unique one.
in our history. But,
Yeah.
gentlemen, as I've known to say around here, all that being said, thank you for joining us here at the K.O.E. Nation for this very special Spirits review of Peerless Bourbon. Folks, I am your King of Extreme, Phil K.O.E., the man of the hour, the man with the power, the man that makes the other podcast cower, the prince and potentate of the political parlance, the lord of the Scottish Highlands, and one damn handsome man if I do say so myself, Phil K.O.E. You can, of course, find me at K.O.E. Nation on YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter, and I am signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partners, the one, the only,
Chicken, appreciate you, love you. We'll see you next time.
and
The Blendmaster, Tony fucking G. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for joining us, and adios for now.